Hello, welcome back to my channel. This week I'm going to show you an interview that I did with my friend Rishav. It was all about training for the marathon, experiencing loss and how that was for me, and a few other questions and stuff. So please enjoy, and again thank you so much for everyone who has donated in the past few weeks. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
1 minute.
Wait. I need to come up with a good opening line.
Oh.
Hello! Welcome to this interview with my good friend Vishal.
You do know my name, right?
What? Vishal? Hello! Welcome to this interview with my good friend Vishal.
It's Vishay, yeah?
VJ?
Vishay.
So, Vishay. Marathon running.
Hmm.
Please tell me how someone with virtually zero experience in running has decided to run 26.5 miles or however long.
Okay. 26.2 miles.
26.2 miles. Why?
So it first came about when my cousin, Priyanka, who is also running the London Marathon, she told all of us family that she's going to run it. And she said the date that it's going to be on, which is my birthday, so the 28th of April. And that then kind of clicked with me by saying, this is an opportunity that I should take up. It's all kind of lined up and made sense, and it would be something great to do on my birthday as a kind of tribute and remembrance to my dad. So that was kind of where the inspiration came from, was from her.
Okay. And what kind of, very briefly, could you give an overview of your preparation? How you literally going from zero training to a marathon? How does that happen?
So the first thing is probably do research. So look into kind of all the plans, tips, tricks, everything that's out there. So I spent a good few days just Googling and trying to figure out what works for me. So first thing is probably pick a training plan. And once you've got your training plan, it would generally be something along the lines of 2 runs during the week and 2 weekend runs. And there would be different types of runs. So for example, you've got steady runs, easy runs, marathon pace runs, fartlek runs. And so there are all these different kinds of runs which are meant to prepare you for the actual day. And so for example, an easy run is you're meant to run at a pace in which you can hold a conversation with someone. A steady run is a run where you're meant to be able to hold a conversation with someone, but only a few sentences at a time. So what I did was, for each of those types of runs, I set an actual pace. So for example, my easy run pace is I run at 9 minutes per mile. And then for my steady run pace would be 8.5 minutes per mile. So that way I kind of got some kind of goal or some way of measuring if I'm actually running at that right pace. But that will take you about a week or so to figure out what pace you want to be at, and then it will kind of fall in place from there.
Okay, awesome. So in terms of, I know recently you developing some injuries or close to injuries.
Yeah.
How are you going to cope with that, especially leading up for the next few weeks?
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, I was having problems with, like, my hip was hurting a lot whenever I did my runs. And so I did take a bit of a break. I took a week or so off, and then I started my training back. So I was quite fortunate in terms of I've got enough time that I can leave out a few weeks in terms of recovery to allow for my body to heal. So it is just making sure you don't push yourself too hard, because you don't want any permanent injuries at the end of the day, which would prevent you from actually running the marathon. So it's all about rest and stretching properly and trying to keep your body kind of healthy as well. So that's how I would say I balance it.
Okay, and how would you balance the, obviously being physically able is really important in the marathon.
Yeah.
How would you balance mental ability with physical ability? What's more important? How do you feel about those things?
I'd definitely say it's more mental. Like, you can run it no matter what. Anyone can run it. It's where they want to run it. And if they've got the ability to stay focused and dedicated to the training and to keep essentially pushing themselves further. If it's running by yourself or even as part of a group, but the constant training, it gets boring. It's quite tough to force yourself to go out there and do a run every day, because it's generally the same kind of location, same kind of laps and stuff. So it's not very interesting. But as long as you've got the dedication and the mindset to say that you want to kind of complete this challenge, then you will push yourself. So I'd say definitely more mental. If you haven't really got a physical ability, that shouldn't matter at all, because the training will help with that. But it's more about getting yourself willing to be able to do it.
Okay, so you've got a few questions here from some of your friends.
Okay.
So Nirav, he asks, what advice would you give to anyone looking to train the marathon in the future? Give us 3 principles.
Okay, so first of all is probably find a training plan that suits you. There are so many out there, but you need to find one for A, your ability, and then B, something that fits around your schedule and timings. So have a look around and see what suits you best, and then that's probably the best way to get started. Okay, the second would have to be then commitment. So you have to be ready to put in the amount of hours. The runs are quite long, and you have to be able to dedicate that time to being able to train.
Yeah.
And the third thing is probably...
I mean, there might only be 2 things. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I think those are fair. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so today is a important day for you. Could you just explain why?
So today is the day my dad passed away. So it was 9 years ago, and so it's gone by a bit.
And could you just explain a bit about how that's sort of, I guess, been a big motivation for you to run the marathon and the charity you're supporting?
Yeah. So I am running for cancer research, and so my dad passed away from cancer, and he taught me a lot, and he's kind of made me into the person I am today. A lot of qualities, even kind of where I'm going in my career and stuff like that was all inspired from him. And so I owe a lot to him in terms of everything that I've had and got and learnt. So this was kind of a nice way of showing that kind of appreciation.
Okay, great. And so Nirav also asks, so Shailesh uncle, he passed away how many years ago? 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So obviously you're very young.
Yeah.
And Nirav's asking, what helped you deal with loss early in life? And what advice could you give to others who are dealing with similar losses?
Okay. So it's always hard. Initially, it's always going to be hard and tough. But over time, it gets easier. And I heard someone say the other day, but time heals. That was it. But I think at the time of experiencing loss, grieve, get it all out, and you have every right to be sad. It is a sad moment, but then after, you need to think about what that person has brought to the world, and the happy memories, and every kind of moment that you've spent with them, and cherish those, because there's a lot that can be learnt from that, and you've got to remember those things, because at the end of the day, that's what they brought to the world, what they brought to you, and it's those kind of moments which will keep you going and keep you strong. The other thing is support from family. They're always there. If you ever need to talk, they will always be there and happy to talk to you. And its best thing is to talk. Don't keep it in, don't hold it in. And it can be a lot going on in your brain, a lot of thoughts that are going on, but always speak with someone. It might not always be the same person or the most obvious choice, so have a think about who you think might be the right person to talk to. Yeah.
And Tej asks, you've obviously grown up very fast and a lot since that happened, and how much of your dad do you see in yourself?
Oh, a lot. Yeah, it would definitely be 90%. I've literally learnt so much from him, and yeah, all the morals that he carried, all the values that he carried, I really admire and appreciate all those, and that's something that I've always tried to stick to and adhere by. So yeah, I've a lot, I'd say.
And so Vinay Ben asks in similar question, which is, do you feel that you had to grow up quickly and have more responsibilities?
Yeah, so this is one of the things that now retrospectively, looking back on it, I've realised that there's a lot of things that I've kind of missed out on in terms of childhood. And it's not down to anyone's fault or anything, but it's something that I do kind of miss and wish I had. So in situations where my friends have been kind of a bit silly or whatever, I've always been the cautious one or taken more care, and thought about things a bit harder and being less kind of carefree. And that's also in part of thinking kind of, essentially, it's a bit weird to think now, but like the man of the family, right? So that's a lot of my family told me at the time as well, you are now the man of the family, you have to look after your family, and that kind of struck a note with me, thinking that, yeah, this is now what I've got to do. So it was having to be a lot more responsible at a younger age and take on a lot more. But yeah, it was all kind of part and parcel of it.
And Dil asks, what's your most fond memory of Shailesh?
It's probably got to be... so he taught me how to ride a bike. And so we'd always go... there was a local kind of parking lot. And so we went there, and I kept falling over. And I kept grazing my knees and whatever. And I just wanted to give up at that point. But my dad just kept telling me, you got to carry on and you'll do it. And it was very encouraging, despite me screaming at him and shouting at him, saying I don't want to do any of it. But I think that kind of passion of kind of teaching and trying to encouragement as well, of trying to get me to learn, was something I look back on quite a lot and think of how caring he was at that time.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about sort of your outlooks and your principles and values. So there's some deeper questions here from your friends. Nirav asks, you're always looking to do something new and constantly stay active to develop yourself and others. What drives and motivates you in life to do so?
Interesting. So I always like to challenge myself. I want to push myself further. And that's partly trying to take up as many opportunities as I can in order to experience as much as I can, because I believe a lot of the knowledge you gain is from experience, right? So you have to experience as much as you can to try and gain as much knowledge, and you will never know what something's like without trying it. And that's why I try and take up as many opportunities as possible, and a lot of those are challenges. And so in part that's kind of where I enjoy getting my challenges from. And yeah, this is another challenge that I'm taking on, is the marathon, and it's something that's very different to a lot of the things I've done before, and so it's experiencing a new kind of area, and from that I've learnt so much as well from doing it. So yeah, I think that's
so Dil asks, when you feel like giving up, which I'm assuming may have entered your mind in the past few months, what motivates you to keep going?
So definitely the support of like friends and family. They have been so kind and encouraging to me, to give me words of encouragement or tell me how well I've been doing, and all of that as well. But also thinking about Dad and all the people that have actually passed away recently, and doing it for them and their families, and to show how strong we can be just together. So yeah, it's kind of pulling together everyone and doing it for them as well.
And Tej asks, he says, I've had a similar experience on something, the scale, when he climbed his first mountain. And he found that going through the entire experience was so refreshing from a mental perspective. And he asked, on your journey, have you found that your outlook on life has changed so far? And has the way in which you approach certain situations changed because of this journey?
I can't say it has yet. I haven't experienced anything that hard or anything as of yet, but maybe in a future runs, longer runs and stuff, where I've got more time to think, or it becomes a lot harder, then I might experience something similar. So yeah, sorry, not yet.
Okay, and I guess as we're coming to the end, maybe ask you to say something to people who are watching who either know you or don't know you as to why they should donate to the cause for cancer research. And
Okay. So yeah, if you can, it would be amazing if you could donate. Cancer Research UK are doing a lot of research in the area of cancer, and it's helping cure various different cancers. So some cancers are easily curable, whereas some aren't as easily curable. So by the research that they're doing, it's helping try and find cures for these harder cancers. And this is in turn saving loads of people's lives and helping them out. Cancer is a horrible thing, no one likes it, but it is part of the world that we live in, and it just needs research and time and money in order to try and find cures for it. So your donation would be helpful in terms of funding the research that goes on. I will be looking more into cancer research and attending an open day in the future at one of their institutes in London, and we'll hopefully get a chance to speak to some scientists to find out more exactly the research and stuff that they're doing. So yeah, I'll try and find out as much more as possible and post that as well. Yeah.
So just to end, I thought I'd share something that Tej wrote, which I think he speaks on behalf of everyone. He says, Vishay, you are a living inspiration to all of us, and with your dedication and energy, please continue to go above and beyond, and best of luck with the marathon. We'll be with you every step of the way.
Thank you.
Cool,
yeah, thanks to all my friends, family, everyone that has supported me so far. It has kept me going, as you heard earlier. All the encouragement and everything does help. It does get boring and quite hard sometimes, but waking up early morning to do a run and thinking of kind of how much everyone has supported me so far does help. So thank you so much, and yeah, keep you posted. And thank you, Richard, as
Final
well.
question from Vinaya. I think she was trying to hit you with a curveball here. She's asking, what do you hope to achieve by releasing this video?
Okay. So
what was the aim of this?
Over the past few years, I've had kind of a lot of the thoughts and a lot of the questions and stuff that you've asked me in my brain, and I've never spoken to many people or expressed myself that much to loads of people. I don't generally bring my dad up as well. If I meet someone for the first time or whatever, it's not something that generally comes up. And I wanted to kind of speak more about it so people kind of understood from my perspective kind of what it was like and how I dealt with it and stuff like that. So that was kind of the purpose of this, for people to get a more understanding of why I'm running the marathon and what my dad meant to me. So yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, stay tuned for updates.
Yeah.
And subscribe to Run Vish Run.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, donate if you can. That would be great. But thank you, Rishabh.
No worries.
And a shout out to also Shari, who is behind the camera helping. But thank you all. Thank you.
Cool.
And yeah, speak to you soon. Bye.
That's a wrap.